Hello everyone! Over the holiday break, I was finally able to pick up a copy of Corpse Party Blood Drive. I enjoyed the hell out of the first Corpse Party, and about a week ago I was able to finish the second game, Book of Shadows. At this point, I'm a little over 7 hours into Blood Drive, currently in the middle of Chapter 4. So today, I just wanted to talk with you all about my experience with Blood Drive so far. I intend this to be somewhat of a review, so I'll try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. If there are any cutscenes or dialogue related to the story, I will be sure to cut them out of this video completely, so don't worry about that. First off, I'd like to talk about the general gameplay mechanics. Of course, there is the old visual novel aspect of the game, very much like the first two games. This still works beautifully and is a very effective way to dish out the story in a simple but visually appealing manner. But once that's all said and done, this is what you're going to be looking at. I suppose it's similar to the top-down RPG Maker style of the first Corpse Party, but they've made the environments fully 3D. This looks great, the texture work and bump mapping are a nice touch. However, I can't help but feel a little claustrophobic in these halls. Almost as if Heavenly Host has been scaled down to fit this new 3D form factor. The rooms and halls feel very condensed, which means that there is seemingly less to explore in Blood Drive. Heavenly Host is now littered with hazards and traps, and this turns navigating the halls into more of a chore than a pleasure. These hazards include sharp wooden spikes, broken glass, razor-sharp piano wire, and a mysterious fleshy goop on the floor that can either spawn phantoms that will chase you, or tentacles that can ensnare you. To help you see all these hazards, your character is equipped with a flashlight. However, the battery life is limited and you'll often have to scavenge for batteries in the environment. If you take damage from traps or a slap to the face from a phantom, you might be in need of bandages that are also hidden throughout Heavenly Host. Each member in your party can take damage, reducing their health bar. This can be replenished with bandages or by simply saving at any save point. Besides your character's health bar, you also have to carefully monitor each character's amount of darkening. If you're unfamiliar with the darkening mechanic, which was already present in the past two games, it's basically a really dumb limiter that punishes you for exploring too much. Every time you inspect an item inside Heavenly Host, a hypothetical meter counts up. If you inspect too many items throughout the entire chapter, your screen will eventually get a grainy noise filter. If you continue to inspect items, you'll end up with a very unsatisfying game over screen, forcing you to load from a previous save. Unfortunately, there is no surefire way to monitor your darkening level in Blood Drive. You don't know you're close to the game over until you see the grainy visual effect overlaid on your screen. At this point, you can clear your darkening by visiting a wooden statue that's been hidden somewhere in each chapter, but this is a one-time use only. The halls and rooms of Heavenly Host are now jam-packed with faceless, nameless, really generic phantoms that can pop out of nowhere and chase you to no end. Seriously, I've had phantoms chase me from one end of the school to the other. Upstairs, downstairs, it doesn't matter. The phantoms are relentless and are a huge annoyance for me. They're not scary, they don't add anything positive to the game. All they do is run after you and punch you to death. You'd think maybe a death by a phantom might lead to an interesting, well-scripted wrong end? No. All that happens is yet another very unsatisfying game over. So what can you do if a phantom is chasing you? You have three options. You can run and hide in a closet. However, this usually ends badly with the phantom pulling you out and the chase resumes. Another option is to search the environment for talismans. These are basically pieces of paper that you can pick up and add to your inventory. They are basically a get-out-of-jail-free card. If a phantom appears and punches you in the face, and you're holding a talisman in your inventory, the phantom will be banished the moment it throws a punch at you. These talismans are pretty rare though, and often you'll find yourself facing more phantoms than you have talismans for. The only other option I can think of is to just keep running. Turn the chapter into a speedrun and see how fast you can explore all the rooms with a phantom right on your ass. Sounds like fun, right? But seriously, I found that phantoms will sometimes lose their way if you run fast enough and far enough away.
Oh, fuck me. Come on. I don't think he saw me go in. Oh, he's getting closer. Of course he found me. They always do. There's no fucking point in hiding in a closet. There's fucking nothing to do here. Might as well just speedrun this. There's really no other way. Oh god, I have to oh, come on. Oh. He burnt up one of my talismans. Shit.
By the way, yes, your character can run in Blood Drive. There is now a stamina system worked into the game that allows you to sprint for about 6 to 7 seconds before your character is forced to stop and catch their breath. This can be mitigated by sprinting in short bursts and walking a little bit in between.
Run to that cabinet where he's gonna find me. Inevitably. Come on. Come on. Get on your feet. Oh, you bastard. Just run. Run, run, run. I don't care. I don't care. Hide in the closet. There's no way he saw me go in here. There's no indication if he's nearby or not. Oh, you know he's right outside the door.
You can also switch between party members on the fly. If one of your characters is wounded or succumbing to the darkening, then you do have the option to switch to a different character to continue exploring and avoid the dreaded game over screen. There is no map in Blood Drive, unfortunately. I've become so used to navigating Heavenly Host by use of the map in Book of Shadows, but unfortunately that is not the case here in Blood Drive. You're gonna have to either have a really good memory of where the rooms you need to go to are, or you can do what I did and I ended up using a fan-made map of Heavenly Host, which has proven to be very useful. That about covers the core game mechanics. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the story, without spoiling anything, of course. By this point, I'm assuming that you already know the previous events that have happened in the past 2 Corpse Party games. Blood Drive is a direct sequel to the ending of Book of Shadows. The very first chapter of Blood Drive starts a few months after the events that happened inside the Shinozaki estate, when they tried to bring Mayu back to life and it went horribly wrong. So at this point, we already know that Ayumi has a family blood-related connection with Sachiko and her mother. And so far, Blood Drive has been very focused on fleshing out the story and meaning behind that connection. Also, in the first Corpse Party, there were a few main characters that ended up dying within Heavenly Host. Their existences have been wiped from the face of the earth and no one seems to remember them anymore. In Blood Drive, these characters have been straight up replaced by new, different characters. For whatever reason, a few of these new characters have some kind of magical, supernatural powers, and a seemingly limitless knowledge of Heavenly Host, and pretty much all things occult related. And this kind of bothers me. What I enjoyed so much about the first Corpse Party was that the main characters were tossed into this insanely twisted hell on earth called Heavenly Host, and they knew absolutely nothing about where they were or why they were there. They had to experience everything firsthand and learn everything about Heavenly Host together from the inside out. When Ayumi learned something new about Heavenly Host, we the players learned something new too, and this made the characters relatable and somewhat grounded in reality. However, when I play Blood Drive, it seems the main characters from the previous games are just playing as pawns for these new and more knowledgeable characters. We're basically being sent on errands by this mysterious new guy who I don't even feel I should trust, and it really bugs me. I mean, these guys have survived Heavenly Host once before, and I'm sure they could make do without the help. Then again, who knows, I'm only in Chapter 4, maybe this all ties together in a nice little package at the end, and I'll end up caring for the new characters just as much as I already care for the originals. Anyway, the visual novel side of the game is absolutely brilliant. It's written just as well as the original games. To me, it's the best part of the game. I look forward to every cutscene that brings up lengthy dialogue and story to read. The voice acting is top-notch, Japanese dubbed, with no option for English voices. This is okay with me given how expressive the Japanese voice actors are. The weakest part of the game so far is actually walking around in Heavenly Host. When the cutscene ends and I'm dumped back into Heavenly Host, I always groan in anticipation for the next cutscene to start and whisk me away back into the story. It's a chore to explore Heavenly Host. Traps, hazards, and phantoms are exciting maybe the first 3 times you see them, but end up being a total drag when you're simply trying to get from point A to point B. Another gripe I have is with the seemingly dull and rushed wrong endings. I remember the original Corpse Party games having some of the best written death scenes that would send chills up my spine and give me nightmares. Some wrong ends even lasting up to 30 minutes of dialogue before finally ending your life. This has not been the case for Blood Drive. Most wrong ends have been very brief and very unsatisfying. Some of them are even just one-liners, and when the wrong end text appears, you're left thinking, is that it? Anyway, even though I have my problems with Corpse Party Blood Drive, I truly am having a blast playing through it. I can't seem to put it down, often missing sleep just to get further in a chapter. I would definitely recommend Blood Drive if you've already played through Corpse Party 1 and Book of Shadows, and you're invested in the story enough to want to find out what happens after the Shinozaki estate incident. So, this has been my impressions on Corpse Party Blood Drive. I know this review has kind of dragged on longer than I was expecting it to, but I feel like I was able to get all the important bits in there this way. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you all later in the next episode.